Fun different one here. User wanted to sort a list alphabetically, but not consider a specific prefix. They're making a conlang, a constructed language, where each language has a function where nouns are turned into verbs by adding the prefix mwon or gong. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm making this up. I'd like for the verb versions to be adjacent to the noun, so momo, gong momo, and mwon momo would all be together even as they sorted. Okay? They're asking, is there a function I could use which would sort alphabetically, but either ignore those prefixes or treat them like they're at the end of the word. We're going to make a function that ignores those prefixes. Let's take a look. Now, the user didn't provide their own spreadsheet nor other words to work with, but that's fine. I just made up a bunch to put here for the example. I have 10 root words and then both prefix versions for each. So here I have gonglukin, here I have mwon wawa, and then I also have the base versions of each of those. Somewhere in here I have lukin, yeah, there's lukin, and there's wawa, right? So I have 30 words total with 10 roots, 10 gong, and 10 mwon. All right, first thing I want to do is get down to the root word for every single row. Now, I'm going to use two split functions to do this. It's also possible with the regex replace function, but I find that one more difficult to understand simply because regular expressions are not the easiest thing in the world. So I'm just going to use split, but just know that there is a regular expression version. Okay. Now, one cool thing about the split function is that it actually discards the delimiter. Let me show you what I mean. So if I have this text, hello, vertical bar, world, and I want to split on the vertical bar, then it discards the vertical bar. The vertical bar is neither in the first cell nor the second cell. It's gone. Okay? So we can actually use this to remove the words we do not want. So I want to get rid of the word gong from A2. So I'm going to do split A2. My delimiter is gong. And then I do have to say split by each is false because otherwise it actually looks at each letter and it would get rid of, well, let me just show you. So it gets rid of, it splits on the letter N and says Luki instead of just doing the entire word. Okay, so I do need to specify false or 0 there. Now that's going to work for gong. It's obviously not going to work for the mwon words. For that, remember that we can pass the output of one function, we can pass a function into another function, and the outer function will operate on the output of the inner function. So I can do split on B2 on the word mwon. I'm just showing the full pattern here that we want to do. Okay. Now if I take both of these and move them down, it splits A3 on mwon, on gong, but gong doesn't appear in that word, so it returns the entire word. And then in C, I'm going to split B3 on the word mwon. Now, instead of using B3 here, I can simply take this split formula and put it in here in place of B3. Okay? Now it just returns wawa. So that's going to be my base split function. And that works all the way down. Get rid of all this extra stuff. That's going to work all the way down. So now I have just my base words. Okay. Now I can sort column A based on column B, which will put all of the words in together with their root. So let me show you what that looks like. Sort. My range is going to be A2 through A31. And one of the cool things about the sort column is that the sort column does not have to be one of the columns in the range that you are sorting. So you can sort by A2 through A31, or you can actually sort by column 1 and that will work. Okay, so you can sort by index, which is nice, but you can also sort by column, declaring the range. If I do column A, obviously it's going to return the same as if I were doing column 1, but then I can, instead of doing A, I can sort column A based on column B. And now we see ala, gong ala, mwon ala, kute, mwon kute, gong kute. Do you see that? Very cool. Now, it's not going to put them in order because it's completely disregarding the prefixes. So here it's going root, gong, mwon. Here it goes root, mwon, gong. But that's totally fine because all we really needed for this purpose was get the words together. I'm sure there's a way to get those to always go in order, but that would be a separate sort inside and it would just get a little more tricky. All we care about right now is get all of the things related to a single root word together. Now, the final step I'm going to do is, just like we passed one split function into another split function, instead of referencing column B, I'm actually going to pass this entire sort formula as the sort column. So we're going to be dealing with a virtual array, which means that the range, the data, only exists in the formula. So what I mean is I'm going to copy this and put it in place of B2 through B31. Now here, this one was just referencing A2, but I'm going to go A2 through A31. One thing nice about the sort function is that it enables array formulas for anything inside of it. By that, what I mean is, here in column B, I had to copy down the formula, the split formulas into each cell. But in the sort formula, I don't have to do that because sort makes everything inside of it accept and return arrays. It's a very cool feature of several formulas, several functions. So we can see that the output is actually exactly the same, which is what we want, right? So this is what I had before, sort column A based on column B. Now I have sort column A based on this split formula, and it works. I can actually get rid of all the data here in column B, and it will just continue to work. So going back to what we were talking, what the request was, sort a list alphabetically, discarding or ignoring some prefixes. And one way you can do that is using two split formulas to remove those prefixes and sort the original list based on the root words themselves.